Have you seen some really unique and cool home accessories and all these catalogs that come to our homes, but you just don't want to spend that much money on them? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you how to make this one right here for a fraction of the cost. So if you want to learn how to do it, well, then follow me. What's up, Glue Dots? I'm Elaine, the Midnight Crafter, and a lot of you may wonder where I get the inspiration for some of these projects that I come up with, and some are just floating around in this head of mine, while others may be stuff that I see in stores or in these catalogs that come out and come to our homes. Of course, I'm not going to stores right now, but the challenge then becomes how to recreate these or make them even better in some cases for a lot less money. And that's what I did for today's project, and I'm super loving it. If you're ready to see it, let me know by hitting the thumbs up and by hitting that subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already. Don't forget to check out all the cool stuff down in the description box below too. Alrighty then, if you're ready to get to it, let's go do this super cool project. So what I'm going to be doing first is assembling the base, and you can use, I had these little cups, I have these little cups. I mean, I kind of went through my stash, and these are some of the things I found. I found this is a wooden coaster that I had gotten for something else. So I'm just going to use this. Take whatever your components are. What I'm going to do is take this dowel. Now these are not from Dollar Tree, but that's, again, I went through whatever I had in my stash, and they do have dowels at Dollar Tree. So we're going to be putting this right here in the center, so making sure that the hole is large enough that we can go right through, because we're going to be putting it through and mounting it here on the bottom. So I'm using my wood burning tool or soldering iron. I'm not even sure technically what this is. All I know is my husband got it for me for like $6 from Harbor Freight. So make sure you're in a well-ventilated area when you do this. And there is the center little hole here already on your bottom of your little bowl from when it was made. Make it just large enough so that the dowel is not loose and it's kind of snug in there. There we go. And I did that too while the plastic was still a little bit hot, so it's just going to make it a little sturdier, which is perfect. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this to the base. I want to glue not only the stick, but also the dish itself. So this is what we have so far, and this is starting to form the base of our, whatever you want to call this. Okay, so the next thing we're going to be doing is taking our other dowel and putting it crossways a little ways down, and we're going to be attaching that. You can use any number of methods here. So again, out of my stash, I had some wire. I also have some nautical rope, but I'm running a little low on my nautical rope. I'm going to just take a piece of my wire here. And again, you can use your nautical rope if you want. You do want to find your center point here because it's supposed to be balanced. So these particular dowels that I have are 12 inches. I'm going to just make a little mark at the halfway point. I'm going to just put it a little ways down here. And I think what I'm just going to do is add a little bit of hot glue just to help it hold in place while I'm trying to attach everything. You know, it's not really going to hold it long term, but it's just something to actually just kind of make life a little easier, which is always nice. Then you're just going to take, if you have wire or if you have your nautical rope, and crisscross it and start securing your dowel in place here. We want this dowel to be pretty sturdy, so make sure you're not skimpy with that. And just wrap it any which way you can, just to get it so that it's nice and secure. It's really helpful if you are using wire to have a little small pliers or something, because it gets very hard on your fingers. Now I am going to be covering this up again with nautical rope, but I just wanted to get it secured in place with my wire first. So this is kind of how I've secured it. Nothing fancy. It doesn't even look all that great. I'm gonna add a little extra hot glue in here just to also make sure that everything's nice and secure. And then we're gonna prettify it. That's my own word for make it prettier. By putting our nautical rope on there to cover up all that wire. So for the nautical rope, I suggest cutting just a kind of a moderately longish piece and find a spot to secure it in place. I'd probably have this be the back because I like the look of the dowel being in the front. So I'm gonna start with mine secured in the back. And this is when you can kind of figure out however you want to wrap it so that it looks kind of nicer. This is going to be all getting spray painted. So you don't have to, if you have like bright orange or whatever nautical rope or twine. I keep calling this nautical rope, I just realized. And it's not, it is twine. But anyway, whatever color your twine, not to worry because we are going to be spray painting this. Here's what we've got so far, and we're going to be adding on the little balls here on the ends. So get those glued on. Now I would suggest probably using E6000 and hot glue just to make sure these adhere permanently. So for the top of mine, I thought about adding another one of these wood balls. But the reason I didn't is because, and I just found in my stash, and I had this, I didn't have any of the round wooden beads from Dollar Tree, but the reason I opted for this bead with the 2 holes is because I want this binder ring to go through onto each side. And then we're gonna be attaching that, and this is what's gonna give the effect of our little hanging handle. So I'm going to be actually putting some of the E6000 in the holes here so that I can secure my little book rings here. And this is all going to be getting spray painted too. Wipe off any excess glue because it is going to show once you spray paint that, and you don't want that to show. Now I'll take my second book ring and just attach it. And then we're going to glue our bead onto the top part of the dowel here. For this too, I would suggest using E6000 and hot glue because you're going to be moving this around and we're going to take it out to spray paint it, and the hot glue will help to hold it in place just while it's drying and getting moved around. Now I'm going to take this outside and spray paint it black, and then while that's drying, we're going to work on the hanging parts for the candles. Okay, you're going to have to forgive my hands. I was at the end of that spray paint can and I sprang into the wind and it ended up all on my arms, and probably I have speckles all over my face too. But anyway, okay, these are plastic coasters. I either got them at Dollar Tree or 99-cent store or something like that. I honestly, I can't remember, or I would tell you. If you are not able to find something like this, then you can always use foam core and cut out circles to use for your base. So this part, we're gonna try this together, guys. I didn't want to try it ahead of time because I don't have any more of these and I can't get any right now. So we're just gonna try it together. So let's cross our fingers and hope it works. So my plan is to cut this in half, and this is going to be the two tops for our little holder things, the candle holders, I don't even know. But we're gonna be cutting this in half, and I'm gonna cut one at a time. And we're gonna go ahead and cut all of this side and all of this side. We should end up with 2 separate pieces. Okay, so this is what you end up with, is these 2 separate pieces. And then what we're going to be doing is kind of bending these because we want them to be able to fit on here properly. So give them a good bend until you get them to the right spot. Now if you're using foam core, you'll just be poking holes into it and putting it in that way. For my project here, I'm actually, once I get these all bent and in place, I'm going to be using my little wood burning tool or soldering iron and poking holes in here and then putting them through that way. Now do be careful when you're straightening these out. I discovered here that the seam of the wire coming together is right here. So if I'm not careful, that's going to break off. So be careful when you're bending so that that doesn't happen. And go ahead and do that same thing to all of your pieces. Okay, as if I knew it was going to happen. My seam on this one was right up here at the top, and it broke while I was bending it, even though I was being really careful. So I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do about that. So I'm going to first start with the one that did not break. And what we're going to be doing is poking 2 holes directly across from each other. Make sure you're in a well-ventilated room when you're using this, guys, because it does smoke, and I have my window open right here in front of me, so that helps a lot. So you're going to take the one that goes on the bottom first and put that in the holes, and then move on to the next one. And then this one we're going to be doing crisscrossed exactly in an X from it. So make your other holes exactly opposite of the 2 holes that you just already made. Adding our second piece in there. Now some of these are going to be longer and some are a little shorter. We're going to have to cut those so that we can get everything to line up. But right now I just want to get the holes in place. So we've got those 2. Now we're going to make holes on the in-between spots. I'm going to pull these out for right now just to make it a little easier to work. But we're going to be making, so I have my 4 holes, 1 on each crisscross here. And we're going to do 1 hole on the in-between on those so that we can put the other ones in. So I have all the holes on right now, and what I need to do is make sure that these are all the same length. So when they go in, they won't be sticking all different, because we do need them to line up directly on this little stick part the way they were when we bought the wreath. Line them up and then go ahead and even them up so you can cut them all to the same length. Now we're going to want to make sure they're even on both sides, so both of our little hanging candle holders come out the same. Okay, so you can see that I've got these all cut to the same length at this point. So we're going to start with the one that's on the inside first and put that in place and work our way around. Lining up that last one so that it fits through each of the tops of the other ones. And then what we're going to be doing here is flipping this over and adding our glue here to make sure that these stay in place. Now I'm going to also be using my Gorilla Glue, or you could use E6000 or whatever similar adhesive you have, as well as the hot glue, just to keep everything in place. And don't worry about the glue showing either on this, because we're going to spray paint this as well. So I have this on a piece of parchment paper just so I don't glue it down to my table, and I'm going to set this aside and let this cool and dry because I have the hot glue and the Gorilla Glue, and I'm going to work on the other one. So I put these in place, and I decided, there's a saying in Greek, "Κάθε εμπόδιο για καλό," and what that means is, I don't know direct translation, but basically every problem has its silver lining and is create something good. So what I realized with this, why this is a good thing that that one broke, that this will make it much easier to put in something larger than a tea light. Before we would only be able to put a tea light through, but now here we can even put something a little bit larger. So what I've decided to do to make them match is cut out one of the pieces here that I already have in place. And I'm going to make sure that I cut the same piece that was on this one, which is, I'm cutting that, I'm cutting this shorter, and then I will have 2 matching little cages here. And so there you have it. It all worked out for the best. See, guys, we can always make lemonade out of lemons. All right, so I'm gonna get these glued in place as well, but I did want to show you that. Now what we're gonna do is take our book rings and pass them through. So we're gonna take these out and spray paint these as well, and then we're gonna come back and put this all together so you can see it all done. Hey guys, if you're enjoying this project and all my grief that I went through is worth at least a thumbs up, wouldn't you say? All right, and I hope you're loving this project. I love the way it's coming out. It was a little bit of drama in there, but that's okay because we made it work. So let's see what this looks like.